Hey guys, Dustin here. I just wanted to touch base with you. I watched the Boogeyman in the theater and wanted to come give you some spoiler-free general thoughts. First of all, I'm a big Stephen King fan, so I went into this with high hopes, and the trailer that I saw grabbed my attention, and so I was like, yeah, let's do this. Let's see what it's got. I thought the casting was great. The family dynamic that they established between the father and the two daughters was fantastic. I thought all the acting was great. I thought the monster, the Boogeyman itself, I thought they did a good enough job of concealing the identity of it. And what I mean by that is they didn't overexpose it. So anytime you have a monster or something supernatural, you don't want to show too much because it looks silly more times than not, right? And they did a good job in this one of not letting us get a clear enough view to where we could say this looks bad. And then on top of that, the special effects that they used, I thought, were fantastic. There were some really, really effective jump scares in this one, and they weren't the dumb jump scares, like you hear a loud noise in a tense situation and it's just a cat. There's none of that. So the jump scares were warranted and they were very well done. But there's some huge leaps in logic in this movie. There's some huge, I don't want to say plot holes, but some gaps. Some things that I'm like, really? That's what we're doing? And so the problem with a lot of Stephen King movies, I feel, is that, well, it's not just Stephen King movies, it's film adaptations of books. I feel like we run into this issue sometimes where, in the book you can go so much more in detail to establish things and to get from point A to point B. Sometimes there's a point A, point 5 before you get to B. In movies, you don't get that luxury because if you did, then, we're talking a 10-hour movie. You don't have that. And so for this movie to be an hour and 38 minutes, I thought that they could have, I think that was the runtime, but I think they could have taken their time on some more, taken their time on some of the plot points and made us care about them more, establish more of a backstory in some areas, and then show us some more progression from, how we get from this point to this point. So again, I want to be spoiler free, but for me, it felt like there were holes in logic. And the ending was okay. I didn't hate it, but I will say that, for it to be the big bad Boogeyman, kind of went out like a punk, or did it? And so they kind of leave that. It's kind of got a, I don't want to say an open-ended to where there's definitely room for a sequel, but the ending was kind of stop and go. They made us feel secure, and then they left it open-ended to a certain extent. And even that, I feel like there was a leap. There was a leap in logic. So would I recommend it? Sure. Off of one watch in a movie theater after work when I'm not taking notes, I give it, somewhere in the 5 to 6.5 range, just off one watch. But it's worth spending an hour and a half to check it out though, because there's some really good in the movie. The atmosphere, the score, the acting was all phenomenal. It's just there were some misses for me. Y'all take care.